Welcome back to Revealing the Hidden, where we take a deeper look into Jewish living. Okay, so we've been speaking about the question or the idea of the law of attraction or manifestation, or what was popularly called the secret, back in the 90s, 2000s, made it popular. And we wanted to know, is there Jewish sources? And so far we've been very strong on saying yes. And as I continue to look and explore even more Makoros, it's glaring. And there are some tzaddikim who say, including the Vilna Gaon, that there's a notion that in the end of days, there's going to be a time when we're so disconnected from our source of pnimius of Torah that there's going to be things that are raised in the world of in the secular world, and we're going to be not recognizing it because we don't recognize all the secrets of our Torah and the depths of our Torah. And then we're going to be finding them and realizing after this Gilui, this revelation, that it's really been there the whole time. So Rav Daniel Katz, who I'm a big fan of, who likes to speak about a lot of these very deep sources and reveal them or help us understand them, really has a beautiful piece like on the world of manifestation. And I highly encourage you to watch him and listen to him as well. But I wanted to share something incredible. So he posits that the idea of the law of attraction is one of those things that we lost, that Masorah, and that it's something that unfortunately was brought through the secular world, and then everyone's like, wait, is this avodah zarah? Like, this idea that we have this like power in our mind. And there are, once you start looking, there's so many sources, that say just the opposite. No, this is very much a Torah idea. Just to review the ones that we've had so far, so that you're in the mindset. We spoke about the idea of Poseach Yadecha. It's a straight up pasuk. Hashem opens up His hand and sustains every living being's desire, and that indicates right there in the simple pshat of the pasuk. Your ratzon, a person's ratzon, every living being's ratzon, is what is driving Hashem's hand to fulfill it. And there's some concept that the way that you can focus in your mind and really, really deepen a passion and a want for something specific, you can bring it out. I'll give you two stories about this. One was Rav Chaim Volozhiner. He was with some students, and he wanted to see if this was real or not, and they wanted to see if this was real or not, of how they could use it. And so one night, Rav Chaim Volozhiner said, okay, I'm going to focus on I want a gold watch to come and show up in my house. And they're thinking and focusing on it in the middle of the night. And someone knocks on their door. And who is it? It's a boy who was drafted by the army. And he said to Rav Chaim, he's like, please, can you hide this? Can you hide something for me? I come from a very rich family, and I don't want them to steal my stuff. And what does he pull out? Of course, it's a golden watch. And Rav Chaim says, unfortunately, how do I know I'm going to find you? I don't want to take that kind of achrayus. That one day, it's like, you know what? Just keep it. I'd rather be in the hands of the Rav than my own. And his, Talmidim were stunned. But apparently, this is something that has been a long time tradition for Klal Yisrael that unfortunately we don't always know or understand how to tap into. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu really gave us an incredible power. So some of the Mefarshim say as follows. Where does this power stemming from? I'm sorry, I told you I was going to give you another story. The other story is Rav Daniel Katz himself. It talks about this. He's a Baal Tshuva that found his way in Torah. And when he was in yeshiva, so he was, re-engaging an idea about the law of attraction that he had already looked at when he was in high school, when he was younger and he wasn't from yet, and he had explored it, and he decided he was going to try to re-engage it once he started looking into the Torah sources again. And there was a book on the law of attraction, a secular book, where there was a picture of a blue feather on it. So he's like, you know what? I want to have a blue feather. And he said he was focusing on it for 2 days, and he went to the park with his kid, and lo and behold, there was a blue feather at the park. And he said, you could look at this as one person could look at this as a total nace, and a true example, a gilui of the power of koach haratzon or koach hamoshech, And others can look at this and be like, oh, whatever, it's a blue feather. Anyone could have seen a blue feather, even though that's quite unique. But he said, this is something, one of those pieces of Torah that's not recognizable, unfortunately, to all of our door. So I'm going to give you another fascinating source to look at. So here is the first source. It's more of just a building of understanding. The Nefesh Chaim, Rav Chaim Volozhiner, actually, who we just told the story about, has an insight about the way that Hashem created the world, and he says that man was built B'Tselem Elokim, in the image of God. And what is the image of God? So what he says when he says the image of God, he explains that there's a demos, there's something similar, and Elokim is the name. Like there's a similarity, something that's like borrowed, so to speak, from that notion, right? Whatever this thing is that you're in the image of, that's going to be similar to the creation, the creator to the creation. And what is the name Elokim Kanot? The name Elokim Kanot is creation itself. When God created the world in 6 days, rested on the seventh. So the name that's used is Elokim. The first time that Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is introduced to us is actually hinted to in Kiddush. It's at the end of the sixth day. Vayar Elokim es kol asher asav v'nito v'od. God saw that everything was good. Vayhi erev vayvoker, and it was night and morning, Yom HaShishi, the sixth day, and so on and so forth. And we classically add the words Yom HaShishi to the Kiddush, so that on Friday night, so we have the words Yom HaShishi, and then we have Vayichulu and Hashamayim. And the first letter of each of those words is Yod-Kei Vav-Kei, which is Hashem's name. But that's the name of Rachamim, that's added to the name of Din, of creation, of building, and structure. And man is in the image of God in that way, that he is a creator, just like God is a creator. And he says that our actions in this world affect the heavens. When you do a mitzvah, or when you pray, when you say a bracha, in heaven there are thousands of angels, millions of angels in the world that all are affected from us. But there's a notion that we are in the image of creation, and that somehow our power is so incredible and so intense that we can create worlds. We can affect malachim. Last time with Maharsha, we learned also that our thoughts even create malachim. So you are in essence a borei, a creator. And it's interesting because Rashi actually says that Tselem Elokim in the image of God is through machshava, through thought. If you were to tie those two ideas together, those thoughts together, you really have this notion of the Maharsha and the notion of the idea of koach hamoshech or koach haratzon, that the idea of the power of the mind can form things, can form reality. Because as the image of God is thinking and the image of God is also creation, they put them two together, and your mind has power to create. It's an incredible thing. I'm not well versed at all in the Zohar, but I will tell you that one source that is quoted all the time of there's nothing that stands in front of Ratzon is really a phrase from the Zohar, and those who are more well versed. And also talk about this concept will say that the way to draw in creation is through deep thought and focus, and then to move it into a little bit of dibur and maisa, that our powers of creation manifest through thought and speech and action, and they should all take part in the idea of creating a reality, and can pull in something that you want, so that you desire, that you focus on, right? We had examples of just thinking of a blue feather, or the idea of a watch. Imagine if Rabbi Nachman talks about this, and he says, imagine it, like really, really deeply, like obsessing and thinking deeply, where I want to be kol haTorah kula. You have an ability to draw it in with your mind. Of course, you're going to have to do the work as well, but there's an idea that you can move the world and move yourself in that direction. Popularly it's spoken about and thought about with regards to abundance, to money, to shidduchim, all these other things. And of course, those are important, and absolutely, this is a way that, like, really focusing and deeply thinking about it is something that could help move the world and could help move a person in that direction. That's what Ratzon is. And the deeper the Emunah is, the deeper the faith in this power, the deeper and the more powerfully it could be used. But really, this power can be used in so many layers of avodas Elokim. Hashem, I want to be this type of person. I want to be dovek b'cha. I want to cling to you. Finally, Just to close with a beautiful, interesting source from Rabbi Nachman. So Rabbi Nachman says, by Lo Sachmod, the last of the 10 Dibros. It's very interesting, to make it, you have don't kill, don't steal, don't take someone else's wife, don't murder, don't kidnap, right? Shabbos. These are all so fundamental. And Lo Sachmod, don't desire someone else's things. So in the world of Musar Sfarim, so you're going to think about this in terms of like, it's such godless to know that everything that you have is yours and not to look outside. And that is definitely a layer. Rabbi Nachman says something deeper, or something, a further layer. He says that Lo Sachmod is coming off of this idea. If you really understand that a man is a bore in his mind and deep thinking about something like exists, that thinking and desiring and wanting something can pull it in. So there's a very important mitzvah in the Torah. Hashem doesn't want the Jewish people to be desiring something that's not supposed to be part of their Dalet Amos, because Hashem created and wired into the world the ability to pull something in, and you don't want to be utilizing this godly power for something bad. And so even in the Aseret Dibros, we already have this notion hinted to. So I hope this has been insightful as well. We've had 3 sessions. We're going to close with one more tomorrow, God willing, on what this idea is and how to live with it in our life. But once again, to know that really that this incredible idea that people talk about and want to use it in the secular world and for things that are going to be very, drawing and exciting, if someone who's going to want lots of money and all these things, which again are not bad things, but to understand that this is a koach that Hashem, the Borei Olam, gave us to create worlds, to create universes, to draw things in, and we should believe deeply in our ability to take it, to manifest it, and to bring things into the world. Have a good Torah-filled Gebench day.